Here in Germany, thousands of demonstrators have gathered in the western city of Giessen to protest against the founding meeting of the far-right Alternative for Germany's new youth wing. 6,000 police are standing by. Generation Deutschland, as the new group is expected to be called, replaces the AfD's previous association, which was confirmed by the courts as right-wing extremist. The changes aim to allow the AfD to exert more control over its youth movement. And DW's political correspondent Matthew Moore has more from Giessen.
We were at those protests this morning and they were for the most part peaceful. There was families there, people had come from all over Germany, and people were telling me that they'd come there to show that there was a silent majority that stood in opposition to this meeting. Having said that, there were attempts to block roads leading into the city to prevent people from taking part, and they were successful. The meeting didn't start until midday, so 2 hours late. And it was those protests that Alice Weidel, the co-leader of the AfD, spoke about when she addressed the room, and she said that they were undemocratic, those protests, and that the debate should be had in Parliament and not by trying to stop democratic parties from having meetings like this one. The other message from Alice Weidel today was at the young members of our party here, and the message was, we're going to work much more closely with you in the future. Now, reading between the lines, this new association, this new wing is going to be much more closely controlled by the party leadership than the previous one, and that's because the previous one was seen as extremist, seen as radical. It was deemed by courts to be right-wing extremist, and there was threatened with a ban. And so the plan is for this new association to be much more professional, but not any less more radical. But this change will allow people in the party to chuck out members if they think that they are going to tarnish the reputation of the AfD at this very critical moment in its journey to try to become the strongest party in Germany. Now, about the new leadership, a new leader is Jean-Pascal Home, 28-year-old, someone who has close links to the identitarian movement, which is on the AfD's list of banned parties and groups that it works with. Having said that, this is part of the network, and the job of the youth wing is to maintain these close connections with right-wing networks and neo-Nazi networks, extremist networks, and to learn from them, try to gather energy and to shift the debate and to basically make their party more successful in the polls nationwide, and that is the aim. And so, as one member of the AfD in Parliament said to me yesterday, it's the same wine, just a very different bottle.
DW's Matthew Moore there.